Hola a todos chavales, ¿qué tal? Bienvenidos una vez más a un vídeo de Hogwarts Legacy. Vamos a ver lo que han enseñado del combate en el Hogwarts Legacy Gameplays Showcase 2. Tenéis ya publicado la parte del mundo abierto, que es increíble, cuando va encima de la escoba, encima del grifo, por todo el universo exterior, digamos, de ese castillo de Hogwarts. Pero ahora vamos a ver un poquito el combate. Tiene una pinta espectacular, basándome en lo que se enseñó en el último Showcase, pero vamos directamente para allá. Venga. Tengo muchísimo hype. Venga.
And we gave you kind of an intro to combat. This time we're going to really go a lot more of a deep dive on
Veamos cómo va esto.
Battle Arena, which is part of our deluxe edition.
Vale, va a ser parte de lo que viene en el DLC, ¿no?
Forest, which is where the Dark Arts Battle Arena is.
¿Cómo se ve esto de verdad? Es un puto escándalo.
I love the way that the Dark Arts Battle Arena is.
Vale, comenta que los jugadores con la edición estándar pueden comprar esto igualmente. Es que mira cómo se ve, es que parece Bloodborne. La atmósfera parece puto Bloodborne con la neblina. Qué barbaridad. Qué barbaridad. ¿Cómo se ve esto, tú?
Here he's pulling out the Thestral, which is part of that Dark Arts pack from the Deluxe and Digital Deluxe edition. So we're going full Dark Arts here.
Joder.
That's good. That's what I like going down.
But I like this this battle arena. It is a great place to show off really combat in a big way because it
Vale, tengo muchas ganas de ver el combate. Si es más de gimmick, o sea, más de como mecánicas muy basadas en acciones simples.
And is this like the only
O si tiene cierta profundidad.
like this in the game, or you can like practice?
Yeah, so in the base game we have
Dos
two
arenas en el
combat
juego
arenas
base.
normally, and so everyone has access to those.
Vale.
And each of the combat arenas are an opportunity to kind of just go through a difficult combat challenge, fight through multiple waves, in order to earn a different cosmetic for your character and add that to your collection.
De acuerdo.
In the case of that's no different than the Dark Arts Battle Arena.
Vale.
That's also true, the combat arena. But one of the things that we're excited about in the Dark Arts Battle Arena that people can do is you come in preloaded with different abilities. So the unforgivable curses are something that everyone's going to have access to through the base game and going to be able to earn, and they can make choices in order to kind of like add that.
Vale, están ocultando las habilidades para que no las veamos como tal. De acuerdo.
With certain talents and things like that. When you play the Dark Arts Combat Arena, you actually have access to all those things as kind of like a way to test them all. And so it's a chance to kind of like tour and play with the Dark Arts and decide whether or not that is a path that you kind of want to go.
Parece que en estas áreas tenemos todas las habilidades bloqueadas y luego podemos tantear cuáles nos gustan, cuáles no para subirlas en la campaña.
This is just kind of like a way of previewing.
Interesante.
Great place for us to show off combat in general. So I think we're gonna jump in here. Andrew's gonna start battling, and we can start talking about everything you're seeing.
Vale, veo barriles explosivos.
All right. Oh, they just about the cadavers right away. Oh my god.
We're starting off strong.
Oh my god. Was that Sergio? Oh my god. That's so cool.
Yeah, so that you'll notice right away, like when we used Avada Kedavra, that guy's health bar went from instant to 0, and we really are trying to honor the way Avada Kedavra works in the game, even in some pretty extreme situations. You'll notice that like the meter.
Creo que la IA es un poco pasiva, ¿no? O sea que no parece que esté
build up as a way to kind of deal with
haciendo mucha cosa.
Power, just so that it's still fun to use. And then there's some ways that we'll probably talk about to adjust that. But I don't know. I don't know if there are things on the screen that you just have questions about.
Well, like I see like little blue things popping from the enemies. Also, before like that sign, well, it's like, so in the community we call it the ancient magic sign. I don't know if that's how it's called in the game.
So the community is astute. So on the development side and in
Vale, veo que ponen el nivel también al lado de la barra de vida.
That is your ancient magic meter.
Oh, so it is ancient magic.
That is, yeah. So as your abilities in the game keep growing and you become exposed to some of the secrets about your own kind of mystery and your own abilities, you start unlocking new powers.
Vale, el barril obviamente explosivo era rojo.
Appearing throughout the game. That's an ancient magic throw.
Atraerlos como si fuera la fuerza de Star Wars. Me gusta.
But whenever you see the R1 or the L1 plus R1 appear over somebody's head, that's an ability to
De acuerdo. A ver, el sistema de combate de oleadas a mí no me acaba de fascinar, pero entiendo que es un coliseo a fin de cuentas. Y tiene sentido. Me parece curioso que el nivel siempre sea el mismo en las diferentes oleadas, que no vaya escalando. Pues que gráficamente se ve de la puta hostia. O sea, a nivel visual esto es un cuádruple A, o sea, se ve muy bien.
And that's actually a good link to the Ancient Magic meter in general. And the reason why I say that is because as you're doing different things in combat, you're Portegoing and you're doing different abilities and you can kind of spec into it with your talents.
Qué pasada, tío. Elevar al enemigo o tirarle después la mierda esa. Joder. Qué barbaridad.
Is to actually perform combos. So you see that combo appearing, and it's almost like your emotions are building up, and then basically that builds up enough that you can attack someone.
O sea, han conseguido hacer un combate que no parezca ridículo, siendo un chaval con un palito. Lo cual habla muy bien del estudio, la verdad. Habla estupendamente bien del estudio. Vale, comenta que es mejor no estar inmóvil y aprovechar el escenario.
About spells and magic here, but I think there's another huge component of combat, and that is the tools that you can bring to combat as well.
Vale, las herramientas que podemos hacer en combate.
Change the way you play, and I think Mackenzie knows a lot about what's going on with the plants and potions.
And so the tools are really interesting because they're basically like a prior investment. So you can bring the potions and the plants that you grow in the Room of Requirement to combat to essentially kind of help you defeat enemies a lot quicker and more efficiently. So some of the tools that you'll see here are like the rock skin potion. So that is something that basically covers your skin. And
vale,
like
para tener más defensa.
That reduces the incoming damage that you're receiving. So again,
chulo,
big
tío.
enemies, hard-hitting enemies like trolls.
Qué chulo, tío. ¿Podemos darle a esta gente el remake o el remaster de Bloodborne, por favor? Es que no puedo dejar de ver al personaje como si fuera el puto muñeco de Bloodborne, pero en lugar de llevar la cuchilla lleva un palito, tío.
And then we have the focus potion. So when Alan talks about having to balance Avada Kedavra with a long cooldown, because obviously it's an instant kill.
Joder, qué guapo ese bloqueo.
A focus potion, and that will increase how quickly your cooldowns.
Me ha gustado la ruta de habilidades, me ha gustado más que la de Forspoken. Parece más clara. Dios santo, las opciones que tiene esto de combear.
And the troll makes him move around too.
La locura que tiene esto.
I love that our plants are violent.
Madre mía.
Yes, and so that's like when we're talking about the setup of the arena. You also have plants that you can fight with, and so we have things.
Vale, se mantienen 18 los enemigos. Estoy fijando en eso por si acaso va escalando, pero veo que no. Que se mantienen al mismo nivel todo el rato.
So cool. This is like a truly like Hufflepuffian way to approach the battle. Yes.
No, that was super important to us, that there were these like multiple ways, and so you can see there's a ton of different things you can
Hay un montón de mierdas
que usar. Mandrake is one, so you can pull it out and it stuns with its like piercing cry these enemies in a radius.
Vaya tela. Y luego hay abajo Dueling Feats, que son como diferentes desafíos, ¿no? Vence al enemigo usando la Chinese Chompling, que no sé lo que es exactamente. Hace un Dueling Combo, que debe ser un duelo uno contra uno. Lanza Stupefy o Stupefy a un enemigo. Joder, la acaba de reventar. Nah, fuera de coñas, este combate es la polla, tío. Hay que jugarlo, o sea, obviamente, viéndolo en vídeos igual no... Igual engaña, pero mola un montón a priori, tío. O sea, creo que lo han hecho... Es que creo que lo han hecho todo bien. El combate mola, la exploración por el mundo abierto mola. Parece que el navegar dentro del castillo está muy bien también. Esto huele a uno de los juegos... No diré más tochos a nivel de ventas de 2023, porque evidentemente, pero esto, vamos, tiene material de GOTY. O sea, obviamente queda muchísimo año por ver. Y está Zelda y más en 2023, pero joder, cómo pinta esto. O sea, creo que nunca un juego de licencia de Harry Potter ha pintado también, ni de coña. El chaval está flipando, El chaval está puto flipando.
more powerful and more efficacious. So it's all about which type of player you feel like you are and whether or not you want to play with prep,
Madre de Dios, como pinta esto.
or with deliberation.
Qué
and
escándalo.
those are all different options.
That is so cool because like it's like I see so much like going on the stream, just so much complexity, and I want to just try it myself, like which style works best. I mean, I feel like it's the dark arts is going to be the easiest route, but that ancient magic, to be honest, feels like much more powerful than just the dark arts.
Yeah.
To be fair.
And speaking of plants and potions, we're going to be putting the dark arts away, put those unforgivable curses away, and heading to the Room of Requirement, which is your home within Hogwarts, a personalizable space that actually has some utility as well, where you get to brew things and grow things. And,
vale, esto personalmente me interesa menos, el tema de gestión, por así decirlo.
Right,
pero vamos a
Andrew's
verlo.
got us in the Room of Requirement, wearing, we kind of went casual mode on the outfit here, wearing a nice jumper. And I think that's a good jumping off point for the personalization of the space as well, not just your character and the visuals of your character, but actually the space is a place that you can make your own.
Es que se ve de puta madre el
juego. To
juego.
us that this space really did feel like your reflection.
Es que se ve de puta madre el juego.
So you can change the architecture in here.
What?
Different themes throughout, starkly different themes, to really just hammer home that this is
¿Qué
yours. You can
coño
what?
dices?
This is beautiful. We never expected that to be. Oh my god.
¿Qué
That's the thing, is
dices?
not only can you change the architecture here, but
¿Qué
you can actually
dices?
conjure little
Pero esta
objects
peña, tío.
into this space, as you can see. So there's like statues that you can do, and ornaments, and tables, and rugs, and just a bunch of little things that really flesh out the space and
Puta
bring it to
barbaridad,
life.
por Dios.
Oh my god, because like we had an idea that those places where you brew stuff, that's where you can change, but you can do all of this. Where do you even get this stuff? Like,
Buena pregunta.
there's a furniture store?
Yeah, so we call them conjurations. And the conjuration recipes can be purchased at Tomes and Scrolls in Hogsmeade. But also as you engage in different types of gameplay throughout the world, you'll be rewarded with...
Digo, yo esto no, seguramente ni lo use, en verdad.
Color?
You can change the color, you can change the
Porque a mí
size of it.
este tipo de
and you
cosas a mí
can place it
me aburren
basically
bastante,
anywhere.
pero...
Oh my god, it's so tiny. It's like for baby Niffler.
Joder.
And I love how the system too is designed. It's not
Madre
mechanical; it's immersive, and so you get the magical effect of conjuring it in, and you're actually doing this in the world as your character.
Está chulo,
but
está chulo.
The way
Insisto,
you
no es
blend,
mi
like that
foco.
gameplay with the immersive
Pero mola.
design of personalizing
Oh
the
my
space.
god, like, and I love the animation, how it like appears.
Está muy
like,
bien la
it's
animación,
not
que
just,
cuando
like,
desaparece,
there,
aparece.
it's like it almost like it apparates.
It is really quite beautiful, and that was the thing, is we wanted that to look really nice because the magic in the wizarding world is everywhere. It's physical, it's kinetic, and it's whimsical. We really wanted to nail that whimsy in this space. Another thing that I wanted to discuss is that not only can you like conjure things and you can change their look,
¿Qué más puedes
you can
hacer?
do that with the utility objects as well. So you can see that we have planting pots and potion stations, and you can change the look of those as well. And these are the areas where, as we had mentioned previously, you'll be growing your plants, you'll be brewing your potions.
Mola.
Right.
So while you're also doing these like kind of nurturing-based activities, this is also the space where you would bring your gear to be identified and gear to have like rates put on it, which I believe Alan can talk to.
Oh, yeah. We keep bringing up appearance and how it looks, and on a, like in the game, you can look like anything you want to whenever you want to. But the player will be finding different types of gear, that we call it, as you progress through the game. And essentially, we just know that
Vale,
clothes
guantes,
and different items
bufandas.
in the wizarding world can have different magical properties. And as you explore and as you adventure,
Vale, esto me da un poco de miedo, ¿eh? Como haya demasiadas piezas de equipo y demasiadas cosas de crafteo y tal, se va a hacer un poquito chapas, pero bueno.
That can help you in your journey and are a major part of you kind of growing as a wizard and advancing as a wizard. And so
there's a huge list.
And not all the time.
Hay un montón de cosas, ¿eh?
Whenever you get a new piece of gear, you don't
O sea,
necessarily
yo que estaría de puta madre que
know
metiesen un modo
exactly what it
multijugador
does.
para poder hacer
And
combates
so
uno contra
there's a
uno
station inside of
de
the room of
magos
requirement that
o
you can
2 contra 2,
conjure.
o
It's one
sea,
of the first things
hacer
you
como
conjure,
eso, un modo
called
online
an identification,
para usar el sistema de
where you
combate
can
contra otras
actually
personas.
bring
Sería la
that-
puta
that
hostia.
gear that you're uncertain about and learn
Sería la
what its
hostia.
abilities are.
Right, yeah, that's so cool.
La verdad.
And then as the space advances even further, and the space
Para que
will
negarlo.
eventually grow its own rooms, and you're going to get new recipes, like like Mackenzie's talking about, all these different things keep expanding, and as it expands, eventually you're going to earn what we see here, which is called a loom. When you set up a loom, it's an ability to essentially customize exactly which magical properties are on your gear and take any piece of gear and adjust its properties and to tweak what it does. And I mentioned earlier that you can make anything look like anything. The collection of appearances, we call it, or cosmetics, we've been referring to it in this stream. Those types of things you can use, and you can apply a look to any other look. So if you get a piece of gear, you put it on, you look like that, but you can change it to look like whatever you want.
That's so cool.
Vale, puedes poner cualquier habilidad y cualquier mejora, pero el aspecto es diferente.
Sweater, but then you can just swap that ability.
Yep, and appearances you can edit whenever you want.
Eso me gusta.
Screen. The loom
porque hay ropa que es puto fea, pero que tiene mucha defensa, muchas estadísticas, o una habilidad buena. Y te la pones casi porque te obliga al juego a ponértela para aguantar y avanzar en el juego. Pero bueno, está bien. Que la estética y las habilidades vayan por separado.
Fantasy or talents and things like that.
Interesting. I'm just seeing that they're just like pumpkin fur, moonca fur. Where does that come from?
Yeah, and so you'll notice that the ingredients that are used to add traits and to upgrade your gear are based around beasts. So this is where we get into the beast care section, which is inside this vivario. Kind of bigger space on the inside idea. And so you can see here we have a couple of beasts out. We have a graphorn and a mooncalf and a niffler and a neasel as well. So quite a variety.
Oh my god, he's just like a...
Es como ver el Pokémon de 2056.
Oh my god, they're together. Oh, that's so cute.
They're adorable. And so part of beast care is petting them as well, but feeding them too. And so once you do those things, that's when they feel safe enough that they'll give you their magical ingredients. So mooncalf fur, niffler fur, etc. That can then be used in your gear.
That is like so like intuitive, because like you know that makes sense, because when you touch the animals you get some fur leftovers. That's so, oh my god.
Yeah, and we really want to hammer home the fact that this is like a home that you're making for them. So in the overland you can find these beast dens and rescue these beasts. Part of doing so is brushing them and feeding them.
Imaginaos un Pokémon con estos gráficos,
and to build that relationship with
Madre del amor hermoso, tú.
In addition to be able to care for beasts, you can actually conjure
Se han tomado el juego en serio.
as well.
Se han tomado el juego en serio y tengo muchas ganas de ver esto en Switch.
Pero
tengo una curiosidad genuina por ver este juego en Switch.
Oh my goodness, no, this is like, I'm gonna spend 8 hours just designing this whole area to personalize. This is like cool, it's like you have this little play area, like a personalized fish tank, so to say. Just for the creatures. I love it.
Yeah, no, totally. And there's like a decoration aspect, but there's also, we were saying inside as well, is there's a utility aspect to it too. So as you progress in the game and you're able to purchase more conjurations, you're able to speed up your process. So one of them, for example, is the food processor, which allows for the beast in the space to automatically get feed, so you don't have to do it manually. And so you're really...
Porque me conozco de sobra y a las 3 horas voy a olvidarme que tengo animales aquí.
In addition, there's also a toy box where you can play with your beasts. You'll see here, so you can, there's a bunch of toys in it, and each beast has their own favorite toys.
Es que podrían haber hecho perfectamente un juego solamente de gestionar animales del mundo mágico y venderlo a 60 pavos y la gente lo habría comprado en masa. Y esto es solamente una parte ínfima del juego completo.
And the big thing we really wanted to hammer home,
o sea, voy a haber hecho un Nintendo, por así decirlo, del universo de Harry Potter. Y esto es algo que le va a dar utilidad un 5% de la gente que se compra el juego, menos. O sea, se ha sacado el rabo pues porque han querido, básicamente.
Oh my god, this Graphorn is just gigantic. But he looks like my dog. My dog's right now for sure.
Madre mía.
You could actually name them as well, so like your dog.
Bueno, era evidente.
Getting back into that personalization, you know, we didn't want you to just like throw in, oh, here's a Graphorn in here. Like, this can be named whatever Andrew's about to name them. Bruce.
The good name.
You know, we've created this really nice space.
Vale, guay.
And you can get additional vivariums, correct? To different kinds
puedes tener varios. Bien,
aesthetics and looks to where you're keeping your beasts and caring for them.
Progression is a big part of this space as well. So as you progress through the story, you will unlock.
Yo, voy a currar el juego, de verdad. Me parece una cosa.
Quite meadow-themed.
Parece una cosa de
big,
locos.
Open, bright. But there's other ones, say like a swamp that you might encounter, and it's really a visual effect to and more space for your beast.
Oh, so it's like those. So when we're inside the room requirement, there's like on the left, there's that moon glow from one entrance and then some shrubbery going on in the right. Is that what you're talking about?
Yep, that's exactly it.
Ah, oh, you put trees in here too. Oh my goodness.
El chaval está flipando, le va a dar un
another
ataque.
thing with the beast care that I think is great, you know, tying back to the same kind of thing that you did with like the broom, where the broom is not just a method of travel, it's actually built in and integrated into the world. In the same way, like beast care isn't just this added element. You're not just throwing it on top. There's really this like narrative and integration to
everything connects. So as you progress through the missions, you'll expand this space. As you earn resources, you'll go into Hogsmeade and use them to unlock the gameplay here and unlock new conjurations and different things to play around with. In the open world, it's in those different environments.
Vale, esta final es lo que hemos visto ya, elemento decorativo y tal, está guay.
That exists in the overland. Those things are what hold recipes.
Pero todo lo que añaden ahora ya es.
So all these things have a way of connecting. Moonstone that you find out in the world is the resource that we use to conjure everything. That's found throughout the world. Forageables are used for recipes. So really everything's
Vamos, que todo lo que hay en el juego sirve para algo. Y conecta con otra cosa.
The story that's being told too. I think people know who Poppy is and that she has a particular affinity for beasts.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything we're seeing here, you know, you're going to be venturing out into the world, and this is just kind of the tip of the iceberg, even of kind of like your interactions with beasts in that narrative. So, you know, you bringing up Poppy, there are more kind of mysteries to discover and things to discover out in the world that have to do with her and that have to do with caring for beasts. And so different characters have their own stuff that just kind of make this all just kind of like the beginning of your journey.
Well, we could spend hours in here, but we're gonna have to end the stream now. What do you think about what you've seen today?
I mean, I'm just so blown away by how beautiful it looks. The open world seems so
se ve puto increíble,
detailed.
la verdad.
There's so
se
many
ve puto
things to do,
increíble.
and like the combat, we're gonna spend like 2 weeks or more just breaking it down by pieces. There's just so much to this world. Like, I'm so happy you guys did this overall gameplay.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We've got more for you to discover and find on your own. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Hogwarts Legacy is available for pre-order now. It releases February 10th with 72-hour early access for owners of the Collector's, Deluxe, and Digital Deluxe Edition. We're gonna wrap things up, but first we've got a little surprise for you.
¿Cómo?
Bye.
Ah, vale, para ellos, ¿no? Para los que están ahí. Ah, no. A ver. Ok. Vale, tío. Qué buena pinta tiene este puto juego. Es increíble la pinta que tiene este puto juego, de verdad. Y lo bien que lo están haciendo. En fin. Lo voy a jugar día 1. Voy a viciarme como un puto perro. Espero que no salga mal, por el amor de Dios. Que salga con buen rendimiento. Que se pueda jugar de principio a fin sin problema ninguno. Porque, madre mía, qué pintaza. Dejadme comentarios. ¿Os mola el juego? ¿No os mola el juego? ¿Vais a jugarlo? ¿No vais a jugarlo? Yo, ya os digo, día 1, sin duda alguna.